Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike and T. And the C's. Hey, C's. No more. I just gave her some dried jerky.
Oh.
Boy, they love that dried shit. Even Bogey was digging on that shit over
Who
the
doesn't
weekend.
love a good dry jerky?
Yeah, but it's different than our dried jerky.
Have you tried it?
No.
Well, how the fuck do you know?
Because
Damn
it
it.
just looks gross. What?
Try not to swear in the first
30
seconds.
seconds. Yeah.
Start over. Delete. How do you know it's not as good as our jerky?
Well, I guess I don't, technically. Have you ever
right.
tried a dog treat? Or
Well, no,
bowl of
but I
brown
didn't
circles,
pretend to
or-
know the difference, so.
Well, I know what our jerky looks like. You know.
Just say it was a
it's
bold
the
stance to
difference-
take without knowing.
Maybe it's the difference in horse medication and people medication.
Well,
I just
that
don't know.
doesn't sound like there's
Come
much of
on,
a difference
y'all.
at all.
Come on, y'all. Anyway, how are you, pal?
I'm all right. How about
It's a
yourself?
beautiful shirt. I'm doing all right.
It's a good-looking shirt, isn't it?
I had a fucking headache. Yeah, it's beautiful. I had a headache all day.
Yeah?
Like all day. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. And then you were like, you're probably dehydrated. I'm like, yeah,
Check.
You're probably right.
Yeah, mix in a water once in a while and see how that goes.
I've done pretty well with the water. You know why? The only reason it was a thing is because I don't usually get headaches. You know, I've had girlfriends. Boy, oh boy, do they complain about the headaches.
Yeah?
Holy shit.
Not putting out?
Yeah, that too. But like legit migraines, those bitches.
Yeah, those are the crazy ones.
Oh boy, not even the crazy ones, but
Boy.
that shit. Yeah, that doesn't help. It doesn't help. But man, I don't know what it is about girls I've dated. Maybe it's me. Maybe that's just their way of going.
That's possible.
Go to bed, asshole. Take your heart on and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I have a headache. It's classic.
You've never run into the, oh shit, I got a migraine. Girl. Not really.
No. I mean, I've heard
like-
they've said I've had a headache, but it's never been an excuse.
Yeah, I didn't say it was an excuse, but I mean, and it's not just like, why don't we take this upstairs and go to the next level? And they like, damn, I'd love to, but migraine. No,
That's
it's like
reserved
during
for,
the day.
That's reserved for marriage, I think.
Maybe, but it's more like during the day, or you're hanging out or whatever. I don't know. I've had plenty though that have complained of that.
All right.
So I don't know. Anyways, dude, I am too amped up, more amped up than I should be for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm just
Needs to hurry up and get here.
It needs to hurry up and get here. Like time goes so fast for everything, and these last 48 hours before kickoff, just killing me, man. I'm watching stuff. I'm getting amped up. I don't know what it is, but it's like, hand, mouth, butt, vagina, and football. It's like, that's my list.
The gospel.
Yeah, that is my holy Bible. And so, and that's in no particular order. I mean, football is obviously better than hand.
Yeah.
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 I mean, football's better than hand.
Yeah.
But mouth, vagina, butt, I mean, any order. Put them in any order.
Fair.
Yeah.
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 Who could say?
Yeah. So I'm fucking ready to go. I am ready to go. Bosa just signed with my Niners.
Yeah, congrats. He's
Getting down to the wire.
no longer holding out.
Yep.
Be nice to get him on the field.
Would you care to give your prediction?
Oh, yeah.
Not like who's going to be in the playoffs, who's going to win the Super Bowl. Are the
No,
Lions
yeah.
going to win the division?
I had a hot take. Yes,
You
I
had
did.
you had a hot take, and I don't know if it's yours.
It is 100% mine.
Okay.
100%. I've never heard it
I
from
haven't heard it
anybody.
either.
Nope.
That's why I found it interesting, and I think it's smart to
Yep.
get it on wax now.
Sure. Yeah, we'll get it out there just in case it does come true.
In case it does, but there's arrows, and they're pointing in the direction that, and you know what? Not that you're always right, but
No.
goddamn, are you not very wrong usually?
Yeah, like I said, it may or may not happen, but if anybody can tell me a reason why it wouldn't, then
Yeah,
I'd love
you're
to
all
hear
ears. Yeah.
No, it's that the Lions will sign Chris Jones, the defensive lineman from Kansas City, who is also holding out, looking
Yes.
for a big money deal.
Yep.
Now, whether they think
Superstar in the league.
superstar in the league, whether they think that's money well spent, it's hard to argue.
It's definitely money well spent.
Now, so
On a revamped defense.
my justification for that, to bring in some veteran, leadership on that line.
For those that don't know, Chris Jones is a superstar defensive end, a lot like Aiden Hutchinson. And if you know what putting great lines together looks like, Aiden Hutchinson should free up a lot of people to do a lot of good things.
Yep.
And you add support, like legit Pro Bowl support on the other side, you're talking about
A world-class line.
World-class offense and defensive line. Like that's another step in what we think is going to be a pretty damn good team this year that could flip everything.
Yeah.
You get a disruptive line with two end pieces, which are the quarterbacks of defense, essentially. I mean, they're starting to get up there with the money they're making. I mean, Bosa just signed a 5-year, $170 million deal.
$34 million a year. That's real money.
That's real money. And that makes him the highest paid player outside of a quarterback in the history of the league, which, there are other guys that are waiting. Like, okay, what is young Bosa worth? And then they'll fall into line there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, not to interrupt you with your
you're
hot
fine.
take on
But some of the reasons behind that, rather than just saying the Lions should sign him, go get a great player, is he's held out, still has not played, hasn't had any negotiations,
hasn't even been around the team.
Hasn't, usually if you're going to sign somebody, you get it done before the season's about to start.
Yeah,
now,
and hold-ins happen.
Yes,
where guys go to the facility and hit the gym, but holdouts are what you're seeing with Chris Jones. It's what you saw with Bosa. That's usually the way it goes.
But they Isaiah Buggs, defensive lineman for the Lions,
who I like,
who has been fantastic, was a starting player. Just a few days ago, reported that he was going to be a healthy scratch, and he was not going to be playing. He was not going to be suiting up for this first game, which made no sense. Nobody could put anything together. Why would that? Doesn't make any sense. Is he hurt? He wasn't in practice last Saturday, which is one of the big red flags of why wouldn't he be at practice?
And you would think that, unless they came out and said this is disciplinary, he did something off the field or whatever, he punched a coach.
Yeah.
That would, but you'd think that information would come out.
You would think so. Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
That
and they said it seems like it's been pretty cryptic. They basically just said that's what we're doing, but whether they're not saying or they didn't really tell him why, I'm not sure. But that's my belief is that so they're going to trade for Chris Jones, but the Chiefs are not going to give it to the Lions before they play him the first week of the season. We're not going to give you the best player on the field
on the defense
before we play you. So he's they scratched Buggs so that he can't get hurt.
Part of a trade.
That's it. So there's no more risk of you getting injured. Not the Kelsey in these walkthrough practices that you hurt a knee. You're not going to go out in the game and get injured so that this derails. So that that's my belief. It all makes sense. We have the cap space for it.
Yeah.
It would be an unbelievable signing for them. It checks all the boxes. And it answers the question of why Buggs is this weird healthy scratch going into the season.
Yeah.
Because they say, okay, neither of them are going to play. We're going to make this deal the day after we play.
Yep.
And we'll move on from there.
There's a ton of money the Chiefs have tied up. You can't sign everybody.
Exactly.
I don't know why you'd let Chris Jones go unless it was we just can't add another $30 million a year guy.
And there is a business side to it. And whether they think he's not worth
Buggs
it
is productive.
or you just couldn't actually do it, logistically, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they have other people they're going to have to sign. I don't know where Kelsey and Mahomes' contracts are all at. Mahomes, is he resigned?
He's got a 10-year.
They already signed him
quarter
the big one, I think.
or $500 million deal or something.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
So I don't know. There's what people forget with the NFL is that it's a business and there's a salary cap and there's a lot of logistics that go into it. It's not just a fantasy league where you can just pick the best players and go out and win.
Yeah, but you can. It is set up that you can. If you really want a guy on your roster, you can make that happen. There's
to some
ways
degree, yes,
to finagle.
Exactly. There's ways, yes.
And every team has their system.
But it's not like baseball with the Yankees. There's no luxury tax. You can't just sign everybody you want and then just pay the difference. Pay the fines for it, essentially.
Right.
You can restructure contracts. You got to get guys to agree to restructure contracts. There's ways to stipulate the contracts. Whether it's But the most
Chiefs are set up to win now, which you're arguably talking about your best defensive player not being there. But if they're so far away and the Chiefs are going, look, we're not going to restructure and pay this guy $30 million a year. I don't know how old he is.
I'm not sure the numbers on it, but it's
you
very
know,
hard to stay on top with those salaries. I mean, so many times you see it with teams win the Super Bowl or the.
But I think the Chiefs are set up pretty healthy. You know, all things being equal, I think they're. While it was a long and the number is massive deal with Mahomes, I think it was very franchise friendly.
Sure. When you get those long,
Yeah, and they'll restructure numerous times throughout.
So whether that happens
Boy,
or
oh
not,
boy,
I have
that
no
would be-
idea. But that's my hot take today, and that's straight out of my noggin. That nobody told me that. I've never heard that.
No, I've never heard it either.
It just clicked when it all of a sudden was like, okay, well, why? Well, they're going to play this
Don't
week,
you
so you
think-
wouldn't give it to them this week. That explains why Bugs would be a scratch. They
Don't
have
you
the salary
think-
cap to do it. It all checks all the boxes.
Don't you think some of the NFL insiders would be smart enough to put something like that together or start asking questions? You know, the Ian Rappaports of the world, or
Maybe.
you
They got
know,
a lot going on.
Peter Schrager's of the world, who have lots of contacts around the league and around these teams.
Maybe.
You would think, especially the Bugs end of it. Like, you would think people would be going, wait a minute, here's an interior lineman who's really good, you know, or for the most part. He's definitely a starter on a franchise. And with the Lions, he's been productive. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You'd think they'd want to get to the bottom of why a healthy scratch would be going on in week one.
Yeah. They've actually got some depth at that. They drafted that kid Broderick Thomas this year, a rookie. That if they think can fill that role for, a fraction of the price. And then they add on the other end the defensive lineman.
Yeah. Well, you can never have enough offensive and defensive linemen, and you could never have enough disruptive defensive ends. You just can't.
And there's not that many elite D ends in the league.
No.
The Bosa's of the league and the like. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You all right?
Stepped on your fucking dog.
Oh, that's
scared
okay.
the shit out of
Yeah,
me.
she's all right. She loves tea.
Well, yeah, until that scared the shit out of me. Not that I hurt her.
I stepped on her hand yesterday, and she yelped. So I felt terrible about that.
All right. Oh, yeah. Well, so they might have the future there in Thomas for, a ham sandwich. Guy they took in the 5th round or whatever the hell they drafted him at. So
odds not super likely, but we'll see. I think Branch is going to be the steal of the draft for the Lions. I think they're going to love that kid.
I still say long term, 5 years out, you're going to look back at this draft and go, damn,
Jalen Carter
nailed it.
Yeah.
No.
You think Jalen Carter's the number one?
Well, I think he's going to be fantastic, and that was who I wanted them to take at 6.
Yeah.
But again, we talked it to death before, whether or not it fits your scheme. You can't argue with what the pieces that they got out of it, that they were able to trade out for that. So, there's a method to the madness, but everybody was clowning them for it at the time of the draft for overreaching for these players and what they got. But, once it was all said and done, in the moment, everybody was like, what? Oh, I can't believe they took him there. They took Laporta instead of Myers, everybody was the consensus number 1.
Yeah.
It was the first tight end off the board. Everybody thought was like, what are they doing?
It's funny talking about it because I felt like a real asshole when someone made this simple observation and pointed out, like, dude, stop acting like you know all these players and all the things about them. Okay, everybody told you that Myers was the number 1 tight end.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit. And it doesn't mean he's going to be a legit first round. I mean, like, half the guys are going to bust out of this league.
Yep.
They just are. And so we certainly don't know as much as the Lions front office.
Nope.
All GMs around the league were like, absolutely. Is it a reach at 6? Was it a reach at 12 for Jahmyr Gibbs? Well, if Jahmyr Gibbs turns into Marshall Faulk, then who gives a shit?
Yep.
Right?
Exactly right.
And that's what GMs around the league are salivating about. Like everybody would have wanted that dude on their roster.
Yeah, if he comes out to be, the player they hope he's going to be, then you could argue that he could have been the number 1 player taken off.
Sure.
So history will tell.
Yeah.
And that's why I said in 5 years, I think we're going to look back and go, that was a real draft. When you talk about Branch, Hooker, potentially
Campbell,
being the future quarterback for this team.
Yeah, I think Campbell's your guy, and I think Branch and Campbell to me are the guys.
And Gibbs can be very, very special.
Yeah,
like I said, and Jalen Carter's real deal. You're going to see that this year out of this kid. In fact, I mean,
he could get lost in the mix a little bit just because of how many stars there is. But
to your point is, you put a line like that together. Fine, you might not he might not get 12 sacks.
Yeah.
But that's not what he needs to do.
The Eagles drafted in the first
Yeah,
round.
but he doesn't need to. He's going to get, he's going to dominate at that position.
Yeah.
He is that freak of an athlete.
Well, what you see, and to the uneducated eye, you go, Ndamukong Suh didn't sack the quarterback very much. It's like, yeah, but everyone around him got a lot of sacks.
And that's the difference.
Like, that's where...
And you put him on a team like that, and just like exactly what we're talking about them doing with the Lions,
Yeah.
is you put multiple playmakers in those positions,
Yeah.
then you can't block them all.
No. No. And what you would consistently do is double hutch. It's like, well, if you put a legit A-lister on the other side, you don't have enough linemen.
You can't.
Yeah, it becomes a real problem. And the Lions are in the unique position of having cap space. Most teams don't. Most teams run out of cap space. Or if they have cap space, it's because they're a dog shit franchise.
Yep.
The Lions are in this weird position
They've
where
got
they're
very
set up.
cap-friendly contracts.
They could take on a high-priced defensive end, and I love that take, whether it's true or not.
Yep.
It's
but
great.
you heard it here first, regardless.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't happen, it's a great take.
Yeah.
It's because it there's a lot of reason behind
the
it.
only other takes you're getting out there are like, they got to win the division or be a wild card team.
Right.
Like that.
Where's
It's
Leonard Fournette going to sign?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to need her back.
No. That's like putting puzzle pieces together. We'll see where it goes, man. But it's an interesting interesting take.
Right?
And,
Not that anybody cares, but it means something to me.
people around here care. I'm too excited.
That'd be amazing if that comes through.
Oh yeah.
Literally Friday morning, they announced the trade.
Well, it's going to be like, oh, it was so obvious.
Yeah, right?
Look at the things around there. Like, if that's the plan, Bugs in a trade for Chris Jones, swap them.
Yeah.
The Chiefs get someone who they can plug and play with Bugs for a fraction of the cost, and the Lions can afford to take on a big defensive end star salary.
Yep. Plus,
And
there's
it
already-
works
he's-
for both teams. It doesn't make sense unless someone emails us and says, dude, the reason Bugs is a scratch is because he punched one of his teammates in the locker room. They didn't want to make a thing out of it, but they felt they had to send him. But we haven't heard that.
I've not heard that.
So
with the information that I have available,
yeah,
that's my take.
yeah, I love it. Fucking love it.
Still going?
Yeah.
Weird. Close that now.
We had a lot of fun yesterday, T.
Did we?
Yeah, talking about the
poopy plane?
the Delta flight from
The doo-doo liner?
Atlanta, from Hotlanta to Barcelona, Spain. And it's kind of interesting because I just booked a flight on Delta, and I got a disturbing
Barcelona?
email. No, not to Barcelona. Tooch and I are headed to Arizona, and
Nice.
I wanted you to come. It's not going to work out logistically,
That's
but
fair.
it would have been nice to have you there as well. But Tooch and I are going to go and meet up with the mayor, Chris Coe, and G Money. And Chris has got that beautiful new house, and we're going to play some rounds. And he's got it set up for the NFL ticket with multiple big screens. Like it's legit. So
Perfect.
we're gonna have a lot of fun. And so we booked a flight. It's at the end of October, like the 26th, and I'll stay to trick or treat with Marshy, and then come home that Wednesday.
Nice. What are you going to wear?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what he's doing. There's some legit costumes out there for real. But anyways, I get a email today from Delta, and they're like, hold everything. We've altered your flight. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, no.
We just
You
booked
just
the
booked it,
flight
yeah.
3 days ago. And they're like, if this doesn't work for you, get in contact with us. We'll refund your money, or we'll try to schedule a different flight that maybe will work for you. And I'm like, shit, what the hell did they do? I'm getting ready to call Tooch and be like, did you get this email? And it's just disturbing, man. So our flight leaves at like noon. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we arrive, we're picking up 3 hours in the air. So we arrive at 2:00 local time in Phoenix.
All right. Checks out.
So they changed our flight from noon to 11:58, arriving at 1:58 in the afternoon in
So
Phoenix.
11 hours and 58 minutes later?
No. 2 minutes early, our flight's now leaving,
Oh.
and it arrives 2 minutes early.
Oh, you'd never make that.
Yeah. So
Arrangements have already
gotta-
been made.
I got to
Pieces
figure
have been
out.
placed in motion. There's no way I can get there early now.
No. Well, you know what? Now that you say that, if it is a 12-hour difference, that would fucking really
We'll change some things. You better make sure you know your AMs and PMs there.
Yeah, let me just double check while I've got it here. I'm sure I can find it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2 minutes early. We're leaving.
Well, I think it's just standard. If for whatever reason they change the change the times, they just have to make a generic statement about it.
Yeah, I've never seen that, but it's like it's a shocking percentage. The number of flights that are being disrupted, delayed. Your flight schedule has changed. Okay. So I'm sorry. It was 12:41. We were leaving and arriving at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
It's now 12:39 p.m. Arriving at 1:58 p.m.
Same day and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like much ado about nothing.
Yeah,
So-
it sure does. So I got to get with Tooch and see if that 2
Make
minutes
sure
is
that's going to work out.
I mean, I know Tooch is kind of a stickler.
It's going to be
with times.
timing's going to be tight, but
It is.
you could probably pull it
So
off.
I hope so. I really hope so because I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm really
Be
excited.
ashamed to have to miss the whole trip for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited to see Marshy. And
Now,
Money
did you even
and
explore
Warden
the
and-
option of if that flight doesn't work for you,
Right.
what benefits you can get out of having to change?
Do you think I
If
could get something out of it?
If you make a stink out of this, like, look, I had to be there. I have an interview. Actually, you're getting there earlier, so you can't even argue. Hard to argue anything like that. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what my angle could be to try and finagle like free drinks on the flight or free meal or
some miles, anything.
miles. Yeah, like
some
this is a
credit,
real hindrance
any-
what you're putting me through here.
Yes.
The stress alone, right? I mean, the fact that we're talking about it right now, you think that's not piquing my anxiety levels?
Yeah, I
would
don't
be
blame you. I
wrong.
think you're entitled to compensation myself, personally.
I do too. I think
think
Tooch is as well.
It's a
even though-
major inconvenience, obviously.
And Tooch is obviously more even keel than me, but still, this has to bump his
When it comes right down
levels.
to it, yeah, everybody's affected.
shocking. I mean, we were going to have someone take us to the airport. Now that person's going to have to alter their daily plans,
Right?
leave
way
work
earlier,
2 minutes early,
way earlier.
way earlier.
Let's just hope nobody shits on the plane.
Yeah.
That's
Which
all we can
is-
really hope for at this point.
Which is what happened from the Hotlanta flight to Barcelona in Spain. Now we've got footage of it, and I believe the one I saw. So you sent me a video of it.
Yeah.
Was that the Barstool Sports one?
Yes.
Okay. I think Barstool Sports got that first. So obviously a listener of theirs was
Gave it
on
to
that
them.
plane
Okay,
and
right
gave
on.
it to them. I'm assuming that's how that happens.
Sure.
And, with Barstool, I never, I don't know, but they're fairly trustworthy.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they're not. It's not the Onion. They
No.
don't. They fuck around, but they don't put
Yeah.
out bullshit. As far as I know,
No. Looked like a pretty legit video.
that checked all the boxes. There was an
Yeah.
empty plane that looked like a mass exodus, and there was shit up and down the aisle.
Yeah, everywhere. And that's what they said to us in the story yesterday, that it was, everywhere and, a diarrhea all over the place.
Explosive,
Yeah, it was explosive. No doubt about
biohazard.
it. Do you think this was a shorts diarrhea or
Yeah,
a
it had to
jeans
be.
diarrhea? It
I
had
don't
to be,
know.
right?
Well, again,
What is the move? Is the move to pinch off the shorts?
I mean,
as
if
much
you have
as
shorts,
can
I
and
don't think
kinda-
you stand a chance in shorts. If you had pants on, you could possibly go socks over the cuffs of the
Sure.
pants.
Not a bad
And
call.
just make your own little balloon down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But at least to have some containment. I don't know if that's better or worse. It's better for everybody else on the plane. It's way worse for you. But
Is it way worse or is it equally as fucked? I mean, it
well,
seems like a.
I mean, it's coming out. It's way worse because listen. It's one thing if it comes out and ends up on the floor. I mean, it's going to leave a little residue on the way out, but most of it's on the floor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you just store it in there, it's like remember those old like water bags, like a hot water bag things, like when
Yeah,
you're sick,
the red ones?
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
It'd be like what it was like, just but poo.
See, I think it's substantially worse the second a droplet of any biohazard mess like that hits the carpet.
Yeah.
So if you could contain it in
worse
socks-
for who is the question?
all parties involved.
But no, yeah, but not the person that's
I mean,
holding in the
you're
shit.
dealing with the stench regardless. But if a droplet hits the carpet, and
Well, it's
God
over.
forbid it's an explosive thing, like this son of a bitch, I don't care where you are on the flight, you've got to make it about 20 feet.
Yeah.
So if there would have been just a pile up mess at a bathroom, and it's like, look, there were 4 shitters on this plane. Some of them have 6. Whether you go front plane in first class, the Delta flight or American Airlines flight I was on last time with the Indian, the dots not feathers.
Yep.
That was mid plane. I'd never seen that. And then they had shitters in the back. They're
Am I
not
allowed
all,
to show the video?
Yeah, hell yeah, you can show the video.
Okay.
But you don't. Not all of them are going to be occupied, but they're not all going to be empty. So depending on which one this son of a bitch went to, but he didn't even make it that initial 20 feet. And odds are he was closer than 20 feet to one of
Yeah.
these shitters. You know what I mean? So when you talk about explosive diarrhea, which is hilarious in name, how explosive does it? I didn't realize it could be like I'm sitting here talking to you one moment and then holy hell breaks loose and it's over. It's over.
Oh yeah, that's that fast. It's over. Here's their flight path.
Yeah.
Here's the God. Turn it around.
Where do you think it happened on the purple? Was it top?
I'm gonna go. I think. Let's see. I think they.
Where did the incident?
They were going this way.
That right there is the incident.
Yes.
See
They
that
were
right
like,
there?
Oh,
Oh,
okay. What are we
shit.
dealing
Oh.
with? Okay. Is it okay? All right. Whip it around. Let's go.
Yeah, I got a
Beeline.
biohazard
Beeline.
situation. Some piece of shit his pants.
Ay, ay, ay.
Update. There's video. Why do people? Humans are so interesting, right? This son of a bitch has an accident and shits his drawers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's being super weird and slow.
Yeah, it is. Our whole setup sucks, but
Womp, womp.
it looks pretty.
There we go.
We have official footage from the Barcelona.
All right. This is it.
Napkin. Oh, man.
All these.
Look at all the blankets.
It's all that. It's just stuff over the. Those are all just. There's one that's a big pot. Oh, look at that.
Oh, yeah, that's
just-
where the incident happened, probably.
But all these, look at that's all the whole way. Oh,
Is that
God.
still going or just reset?
That's looping.
So that looks like the incident spot. Maybe he took a couple steps
then-
to the right and
People's-
then...
and then you got to understand people getting off the plane, stepping in it. Like how you can't. I mean, you're limited in what you can do and where you can go. Although it appears that this is one of those large planes with 2 aisles because this person is walking on the far side aisle.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, it's an international flight.
International
Yeah,
flight
yeah,
going
yeah,
across
yeah.
going across the pond. So it's one of the big flights.
So do you think anyone walked down that aisle? Because you could make your way
Yeah,
over
the guy
to the
with
extra
shit
aisle.
running down his leg.
Well, no. I mean, when they were deplaning, to go clean it up.
I don't know. I don't. Hard to say what happened in there, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Would you
good
go down
on
that
any
aisle
level.
if that aisle
No,
was
God, no.
wide open and the other one was backed up and you're sitting in this filth and this stench? The other ones, obviously, people have gone over there, and now you've got the cattle call to get out of there.
Only if
but there's a free hole. There's a lane.
Very possible, yeah. Because I could go. You could go side to side with a step into each row a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I would plot it out. I'd look at my path to see if there was a route or not. If it was just a moat of shat, then no, I'd just go ahead and
But
wait my
you
turn
can
on
if-
the other one. But to get off of there that much faster,
Yeah.
I would hover over the top of it because sure.
Yeah. What's the difference in being 8 feet away?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
If you can, and I think with your athleticism, T, you and I both, it'd be harder for me, but if great, I need to go up foot on a seat to get over a huge pile.
It's a big risk though. I got a little issue on the left side there. And that could be
Oh, you're pimp limp.
that could be a catastrophic failure.
Well, if you
I tried to,
slipped.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can take a nice leisurely stroll up the clean aisle, or I can risk it all fucking hardcore parkour style going up the left lane there.
Great point.
Because one misstep,
Yeah.
could be catastrophic.
Who do you think put the bounty down all over? Like, okay, those are just toilet paper, or not toilet paper, but
The air waitresses.
You
I'm
think
sure.
so?
Yeah.
You think they
something.
masked up
Yeah,
and
they
did that and
Yeah.
just-
I don't think they. I mean, I don't even know if they masked up.
yeah. I would. That's the only time I'd want a mask on a plane.
I mean, unless this is after the fact, once everybody got off and the cleaning crew came in, and that was just the initial. All right, let's just get something over this, get everybody off the plane, and figure out what we're going to do.
Is that a thing? People can email us, walters@detroitcast.com, and I know firsthand what an emergency looks like. Hell, every day I wake up, it's an emergency, right? But if I'm downstairs and I go, you know what, I'm going to run the risk. I'm going to try to make it up to my bathroom. This came on out of nowhere. I should be used to this by now.
You roll the dice?
Yeah, I can usually, if I need to pause and, keep it together. But it's not usually like, oh, shit, and then it's just exploding out of you.
Yeah, I mean, is
that a thing, though?
Yes, it can be. I mean,
do you think this son of a bitch is just trying to hold it, and then it's like, oh shit, it's over?
Or just, I mean, this is not your average everyday, bubble guts. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
I got to go poopy type thing. This is some real issues going on here.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So, excrement. That's shit, by the way, for people that don't know. Excrement is shit. And paper towels visible in the aisle of the evacuated aircraft, according to a clip filmed following the mid-air disaster. I think that's fine. They usually, in press articles, try to amp it up. I would say this was a true mid-air disaster.
That seems appropriate to me.
Yeah, I don't think they're overselling it or hyping it.
Not at all.
It's not a clickbaity thing.
Nope.
The flight had taken off from Atlanta, didn't even make it to the Atlantic before the unwell flyer forced the pilot to turn around. Delta said 336 passengers were delayed for hours. The person who shared the footage on Twitter under the name Zansby, Xansby, said their little brother had been on board. Although he said his younger brother saw the funny side. Of course, younger brother's going to... Yeah. He pooped. He shrit his pants. He saw the funny side. The incident left hundreds of flyers in limbo as they waited hours. I got to give it up for the Delta staff. I mean, they waited hours, blah, blah, blah. This staff killed it.
Unbelievable.
Crushed
Top
it.
notch. Raises all around.
Yeah. I mean, in 5 hours, 26 minutes, they got everyone off. They, first off, turned around, and I don't know how long that flight back was. That kills an hour right there.
Yep.
Turning around, declaring it a biohazard.
Yeah,
landing,
they were already,
deplaning.
Yeah, exactly. That was at least an hour of flight, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Taking off, turning around, coming back.
Then to rip up the carpet. Do you think they just went, fuck it, we're taking all the carpet out? Or do you think they just went...
No, they took, because if you look at that, there's the aisle is one set of carpet, and under the seats is different carpet. And there's a little tack strip that goes down the row. And that's probably because that has to get replaced fairly often because of the traffic. Right?
Yeah.
It's not as bad at each seat. You don't have to pull the seats out to replace the carpet and everything else. But that runway.
So you think they just runwayed it?
I can almost promise you they just took that runway right out and ran it
Maybe
down. They probably have that standard carpet on hand and were able to do it. They had to. They didn't run to Home Depot or anything and pick up new carpet. They have that, and it's
already
take
cut
it up, rip it out, get it out of there, roll the new one down, cut it, tack it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Still impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
But it's not like they pulled seats and recarpeted the whole plane.
It's almost like a pit crew in speed and...
Impressive, to say the least.
Very. Because everything we know about these planes, it seems like there's pieces of shit involved in the whole process. Whether it's me wanting to sit there as long as I can before having to stand in the line before boarding the plane and them going... We gave your seat away. Like, what the fuck? This ticket went through, initially coming through here, I went through clear. Then I went through your fucking, your baggage stuff, clear, both with these tickets identified. And then I went through your stupid security gate, took my belt and shoes off, and all of that. So you're fully aware that I am physically in the airport. Mm-hmm. You gave my ticket away. What did you think? I changed my mind in the 30 minutes since I last got checked for this stupid ticket? So there's always something with these people. So to see an incident like this happen and then be able to turn that around in 5 hours, crazy. Airline staff were praised after they hastily cleaned the aisle by replacing the carpets entirely. So they say carpets plural entirely. I don't know that they know. I think it's more likely they did what you did and took an aisle runner.
Yep, you can tell it's a different
Maybe
carpet there.
that one row where the gentleman, I'm assuming it's a gentleman.
Maybe both, and maybe both. You know, maybe both rows, just because people might have stepped in it and went the other way. I don't know. But kudos to not just try and clean it.
Yeah.
Scrub it out of there.
Other passengers said shared vile details from inside the jet, and you know, the one that we loved was the gentleman that was like, yeah, they used vanilla.
Oh, the vanilla scented disinfectant.
Yeah, they said, yeah, it just made the plane smell like vanilla shit. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Yep. I mean, it's better than shit, but just barely.
But is it though? I mean, mixing an aroma that most people find to really enjoy, vanilla. I mean, who doesn't like vanilla?
I mean, if it took the poop smell from 100 to 95, would that not be a improvement?
I suppose, but again, I fear that it would more than likely it would just ruin vanilla for everybody.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, I think is vanilla shit better than shit? I'm not so certain that it is. No.
I'm gonna go with yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, to some degree, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's like
remember
shit
when you
now, but
remember when you farted in the jar and then you capped it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I do.
And then you pulled it out a couple days later,
Yeah.
because some broad was selling them for like $5,000 a fart.
Yeah, with a little test run.
Yeah, you did a test run to see if it would work, and you took it out and absolutely blew your own head off. I mean, it was like a shotgun
That was
blast.
amazing how the longevity of that thing.
The preservation in a jar.
Yeah, and I leaned into it. I huffed that thing deep. You know, I wanted to make sure that when I cracked that jar, it didn't escape.
It was legit.
I needed to know. Yeah, I got myself good on that.
Yeah. Now, if someone had spritzed a couple shots of vanilla in that, do you think it would have made any difference at all?
Again, but if it's 5% better, it's still better.
Can you even claim 5%? Like, who would say that?
I don't know. Can you claim it's not?
It was 5% better. Well,
just say it.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I suppose. I think
I didn't say it's 100% better. I'm just saying that at least it's not just shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that smells like shit. A little bit like vanilla, but oh, that's shit.
Yeah.
That's 5% right there, in my opinion.
I don't know. I mean, I'll go with you on that. I think these people, there's more than a 50% chance that half that plane despises vanilla anything.
Probably, yeah.
Going forward. And they could have been big fans, you know.
Civil suits coming for being traumatized.
I mean,
vanilla forever.
The burnt match is the way to go. Otherwise, it's just sprinkling cinnamon on shit or vanilla on shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if that ruins matches for people,
I don't think it does, though. I think there's such a harshness to the matches that works, but that's not a pleasant. You know, I don't know. Who's to say?
Yeah.
I mean, if we talk to any,
I was at somebody's house and they had a book of matches on the toilet seat.
Yeah,
I was
I've seen
like,
that.
Classy. That's really classy. Nice job.
Beth had, and I have some upstairs. Something you're supposed to spray.
Poopery.
Poopery, yeah. That's one brand. I don't know if that.
Yes, I mean that's the original.
Does that work? It like puts a barrier on the water.
Supposed to, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how great it works, you know, and then you could have a large enough shit that it, you know, protrudes the surface of the water.
Yeah, Loch Ness Monster.
In there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What if it's just explosive in nature? Not like anyone we get that usually, but if they were to get that, you think it would work on that? Like
I don't know.
Put a layer of coating on there, and
that's
then
what they're. You know, that's what they're doing with the ash in Hawaii. For like for all the chemicals and the toxics and stuff. No, that they spray like an adhesive over it.
Okay.
So that it won't blow away and the wind doesn't pick it up and spread it around.
Yeah, you don't want Uncle Lenny blown away.
No. So well, supposedly if they come across remains like those are easy to tell.
Yeah.
They're supposed to stop immediately. But yeah, they have this like a spray, like an adhesive that just like seals it all in so that it can't keep spreading and blowing around. First I've ever heard of that.
Have you seen the fucking? By the way, we haven't really.
It's just
talked
large scale
about it.
poopery.
Yeah, sort of. Have you seen like the video? Because Oprah's got a place in Maui, and The Rock and Oprah did a video begging for money from people.
Nope.
And people are just fucking killing them.
Yeah, I bet.
Killing them.
Sure.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? She's worth $2.5 billion, and you're worth $750 million, and you're asking regular Americans in a horrible recession that we're going through right now, don't care what any asshole out there says.
Yep.
We all feel it. I don't care if it's your grocery bill or your electric bill, whatever. It's through the roof. It's double what it was a couple of years ago when someone else was running shit.
What if they gave $1 million each and they were asking for everybody else to help out in any way they could?
No, what they've done, this cute little trick, the same one that ironically shit in Johnny Depp's bed and tried to blame the tiny little dog, Amber Heard.
Amber Turd?
Yeah, Amber Turd, where she pledged, how did she word it?
Oh, that she was, yeah.
Yeah, $10 million. I pledged $10 million, not I donated.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
She was going to play, there was some word play there.
This is what The Rock and Oprah have done. A pledge donation of $10 million or something like that. And all that means, if you don't know, is they're not going to beg ordinary people for nickels and dimes until it gets to $10 million, and then they'll donate it, what they've pledged. So they're not pledging shit, though.
Okay.
Which is just comical. And they're getting murdered on social media.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
Like, yeah, if you want to tank your career or have people legitimately fucking despise you, pull that shit.
People won't care. People won't give a shit.
Yeah, they seem to, though.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
But next time Rock's got a movie out, they'll still go see it.
Maybe.
And whatever. Oprah's bulletproof anyway.
Yeah.
What
well,
when you've cancel Oprah?
When you've got $2.5 billion, I suppose you are.
Exactly. It means nothing.
Interesting. Last week, what was Tucker Carlson? He was on he was on Adam Carolla's podcast.
That's right. Up very, very close to his camera.
Yes. It was disturbing.
Right.
Especially to you. You pointed it out, and then, and it kind of now it's all I can see when I see that video.
Perfect.
So thank
Good.
you for that.
You're welcome.
Tonight at 6 p.m., I don't know what time it is now. It's probably after that.
Past that.
Yeah, it's
well past that.
So it wasn't just good enough to go on and say Larry Sinclair talked about smoking crack and fucking Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to the 90s when he was Senator Obama from Illinois. Larry Sinclair has been telling this story for decades.
Right.
Obama's part of the protected class. So whether or not there's any truth to this story, we'll probably never really know. But Tucker went a step further and got Larry Sinclair on and was dropping that interview today.
Okay.
At 6 p.m.
Now, do you think that was so the clip with Corolla, was that premeditated? And knowing that he was already going to have Sinclair on? And that
Probably
was
not.
To get it circulating?
Probably not, but, I suppose stranger things have happened. He did release a minute-long promo.
All right.
Which I have here for us. Would you like to watch old Larry Sinclair? Now, Larry's got his problems. Anytime you're butt-fucking dudes while doing crack, I would say things aren't awesome.
I mean, maybe. How do you know?
I'm not here to judge,
right? But maybe that's fucking awesome.
Maybe. I have talked to people who smoke crack before.
While butt fucking another man?
No,
okay.
Just the crack part. And they said it's fucking amazing. I don't know. I've never done it.
Do we know how the situation went down? Of who was fucking who? With the top-bottom situation?
There
the
were multiple encounters, so I don't know if it...
Were they flip-fucking?
I don't know if they do that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like, hey, let's try a different position, or if a top is always a top, a bottom is always a bottom. I just don't know how game is played.
Yeah.
Just don't know
what the details were. I don't know any of the story from the original thing. I didn't pay any attention to it. I remember hearing rumors about it, but I didn't know.
Clark was on it pretty hard.
Right. So I didn't pay attention to the details.
Obama was a fraud from day one.
So I knew there were details in the original story, so I didn't know how detailed he got.
Well, there's a lot of people... I guess a lot isn't fair, but I mean, his own brother said, oh, yeah, he's a fucking homo. Now, what his brother knows or doesn't know, I don't know.
Right.
But, there's not a lot of people levying accusations. He called him a faggot, too.
Oh, boy.
He's even tweeted that.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of strong. He's in Africa, though. He didn't give a fuck. You're in Kenya, wherever Obama was born.
Okay.
I mean, Hawaii, obviously. Or Kenya, whatever.
Yeah, that was just this whole fire was just to burn the birth records.
Right, sure.
What in the hell is going on
What
here?
in the hell is going on?
I don't know. I didn't do anything here.
Okay, so minimize that.
And might I just say...
No, you may fucking not.
No, sub.
I was on the thing.
Yeah. So can you go back or just refresh it? Because that says Larry Sinclair in the header there.
Yeah. So what?
I don't know.
Oh boy. What in the hell?
This might fuck us up. I'll start reading some of these. You let me know if you get it.
Okay.
So, Tucker teased the interview with Larry Sinclair, who alleges Obama bought and smoked cocaine with him before they had a sexual encounter in '99. Sinclair first aired his claims during the '08 election, including a press conference that ended in his arrest due to an outstanding warrant. In the teaser clip, Sinclair is claiming that in '99 he gave Obama $250 to purchase coke, which Sinclair snorted and Obama smoked before the two men had a sexual liaison. Ooh. Sinclair has a lengthy criminal history, including convictions on forgery, fraud, larceny. He served prison time in Arizona, Florida, and Colorado. Now, he's a crackhead, right? That does not mean he's a liar.
Well, no, I mean,
I know lots of people who do copious amounts of drugs.
For the record,
it doesn't make them.
Apparently, he snorted the coke.
Yeah.
Obama smoked it.
True.
That does not make him a cokehead, because if Whitney Houston has taught us anything.
Yeah. Crack is whack?
Exactly right.
Yeah. In 2008, when Sinclair first aired his claims, nobody reported on the story in general. It's generally been ignored by the mainstream media because he's unable to substantiate his allegations.
Just a he said, she said, so that's rumor's not a fact?
Right. So this guy is a sitting senator in Illinois running for president of the United States, and you go, well, this guy claims something. We're not even going to print stories on it. Because he can't prove, like, how exactly would he prove that? Did he get a receipt from the coke dealer?
Yeah.
I mean, like, outside of getting a receipt from the coke dealer, it's going to be he said.
You do have to be careful on some level, because anybody can say anything at any time.
Oh, so, you mean like Christine Blasey Ford?
Right.
Right.
But I would assume there's ways to vet this and find out whether it's even, potentially legitimate or not.
Yeah, you would think there'd be someone keeping a schedule of Obama's that could place him in wherever said
and I don't know what the
happened.
timeline of this was. He was sitting at the time?
Yeah, he was a senator in Illinois.
Okay.
Yep. In June 2008, Sinclair rented a room at the National Press Club in D.C. and spoke for an hour, going into great detail about two sexual liaisons he had claimed to have had with Obama in '99, one in the back of a limo, another in a hotel room in Gurnee, Illinois. I don't know where that is. Sinclair claimed that a limo driver introduced him to Obama after Sinclair asked for help connecting with someone to, quote, party with.
All right.
And that Obama, then a state senator, readily introduced himself with his real name and job title. That seems rather reckless.
Yeah, a little bit. But maybe that's how he got dick back in the day.
Yeah.
That was his clout.
Yeah. The press...
It was a different time back then, Michael.
It very much was.
Yes.
The press conference ended in
if you will.
his Sinclair's arrest on an open warrant from Delaware after liberal bloggers who supported Obama apparently tipped off D.C. police to the scheduled appearance. For more than a decade, his claims were taken seriously only by the furthest fringe of conspiracy theorists and had largely receded from public discourse. That is until last week, Carlson revived the long-defunct controversy. What does long-defunct mean?
I mean, it's no longer in existence.
Okay. I don't know how you defunct that either way. I mean, you can believe it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there are now there's girlfriends that have come out and talked about letters they got from Obama, and the guy's dreaming about cock all the time. Mm-hmm. He's constantly, which neither here nor there. He's an adult. He can do what he wants. He's admitted to doing coke before, right? I mean, he talked about his coke in the past. I don't know if that elevated to crack. I have no idea. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to go, okay, here's someone who's writing letters to girlfriends about dreaming about cock and talking about, I just have to accept the fact that I'm a man and go on with my day. I can't fix science. Like, he's written that shit. And he's
Allegedly.
admitted to doing blow. Yeah, right? Again, different time. Mm-hmm. Is that going to play there?
Yeah, whenever you shut up.
Watch it. Yeah. Okay. Warranted. I was trying to buy you time. All you had to do was go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we got her.
All right.
All right, let's see. Maybe.
Yeah, he's missing a tooth. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a perfectly put together individual.
But that doesn't make him a liar.
Doesn't make him full of shit.
Yeah, what is going on here?
So while this is, yeah, I told you.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm gonna make us watch a spot first. These cocksuckers. I don't know what's going on. We need a nerd over here.
Something.
Post haste to help us
There we
with
go.
whatever's
There it is.
going on. Okay.
Hang on. Even that's not letting me. This is lagging.
Yeah, something's up.
Right, look at it's not me here, kids. There we go.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
You're looking to party.
Yeah. Pulled up in a bar outside, and there's this guy that's introduced to me as Barack Obama. I had given Barack $250 to pay for Coke. I start putting a line on a CD tray to snort, and next thing I know, he's got a little pipe and he's smoking. So I just started rubbing my hand along his thigh to see where it was going, and
yeah.
it went the direction I had intended it to go.
Even though you had sex with him twice, you did cocaine with him, watched him smoke crack twice, you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea who he was.
Let me just ask the obvious question. What was Obama like on crack? Is it your sense
Horny?
that that's who Obama is, just transactional, or that he's bisexual, or like what is this?
It definitely wasn't Barack's first time, and I would almost be willing to bet you it wasn't his last.
The guy's running for president, and credible information comes out that he's smoking crack and having sex with dudes. That seems like a story.
Well, it would be a story if the media really cared about telling people the truth.
Ooh, bombshell.
I don't know what this matters. He's out of office.
That's my point. Is that it doesn't. I mean, it's if anything else, it's just another dagger to the media. It's more of a slap to the media than it is to Obama. Could give a shit if the guy does a rail and sucks a dick. It's irrelevant. I mean, it really is. I mean, and especially to go back and pile on, to dig into.
As a sitting senator, you probably shouldn't be doing.
Probably not,
crack.
but to act like it doesn't happen is laughable on its
Hilarious.
face.
Yep.
So, again, this doesn't do anything for me as far as just dragging fucking Barack Obama.
Yeah.
But what it is just another example of the slander, I mean, the bias of the media.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the point of the
Imagine
story to
if
me.
that's-
That's the only part of this that I give a shit.
100%. Imagine if that story from Larry Sinclair was about a Donald Trump in the 80s, for instance.
Sure.
Do you think they would have said, well, no, we can't run with this because he can't substantiate it?
Right.
That is hilarious. If you think for 1 second they wouldn't recklessly run with that story,
Oh, yeah.
you're out of your mind.
That is the bias
course
of which
they
we
would,
speak.
Which is what you're talking about, and I couldn't agree with you more. It is more like neither of us give a shit if Obama. Like, look, I've never dreamt of blowing dudes. It's I almost wish I had, but it's just not my thing, man. That dude was writing it down. He was, in his words.
Yeah.
That's what he was dreaming about, fantasizing about. Like, okay, for him, that was his thing. I don't give a shit.
So why are you talking about it?
Well, I think it's funny. I think
Okay.
the news story's funny of him smoking crack and banging Larry Sinclair. I think that's fucking hilarious.
That's not new.
No, the allegation isn't. But so what Tucker had said on Carolla's show, he said a guy came forward, Larry Sinclair, and said, "I'll sign an affidavit," and he did. "I'll do a lie detector," and he did. So the story that I have says, in fact, Sinclair notoriously failed the lie detector test in 2008, and then publicly accused David Axelrod, who was a longtime advisor to Obama, of bribing the examiners to rig the results. Don't know if that's true. Although to say that he failed, notoriously failed this lie detector, I think it came up and said shows signs of deception. So I don't know much about the
Right, and how you actually read that and how the
Right.
signals are interpreted,
Yes.
what all that is. And I got to believe on some level it's subject to interpretation
yeah.
on how you say something and how you verbalize certain questions, how you phrase certain questions, how you frame things on what they say, and you can probably manipulate those tests on both ways. From both sides, the person taking it and the person administering it.
And you would think, okay, if you've got a guy and the whole nation is captivated by like the hope and change and the posters and like there was a groundswell with this community organizer that swept the nation and launched him into the White House eventually. So I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. It wouldn't strike me as just outrageous, impossible to believe that someone like David Axelrod wouldn't slip 10 grand to a lie detector guy and go, this guy's showing signs of deception. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like everything about these people strikes me as nothing is off the table as far as what they're willing to do to cover their tracks.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, it's because the amount of money that's involved, the amount of power that's involved in these elections and things, that nothing.
Right.
People go missing.
Yeah, they sure do. So would it be out of the realm of possibility? Some people hang themselves,
things like that.
And to say that it's just some out there conspiracy theory, I don't know. Usually the press would dig into something about that, and they would want either way to go, we can put Obama here at this evening that Larry, like, okay, there's legwork involved. That's what reporters do. And the frustrating part is, like, it would be very easy to do that, to go, let's see his public schedule, let's see where he was. And if you go, yeah, the night Larry claims this all happened, the senator was in California doing some early rallies and he was on a West Coast tour
if that were the case, then it would be easily debunked.
Right.
However,
that's never happened. And maybe the thought is we're not even going to address this. It makes it worse to address it.
Oh.
But if you could easily just go, the guy is so full of shit. Mentally, he's a liar.
Here's our
he's
receipt
blah, blah, blah,
right
blah,
here.
blah.
This is, he was not even in the state.
Yes.
Not an option. He was at a fucking gala, whatever.
Yeah.
Not possible.
But if you can then put him in wherever, Gurney, Illinois.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Sinclair's history of sworn statements is also dubious, they point out. In 2004, he signed an affidavit claiming to be terminally ill as he sought to have a warrant dismissed. Yeah, dude, I totally get it. People that are down on their shit are going to do stuff like that.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you're full of shit about everything. And I'm not just defending Larry Sinclair and shitting on Obama. I'm not. But don't act like people don't try to game the system and get whatever they can out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sick. Oh, I'm in the hospital.
This is about getting a warrant, expunged.
Dismissed.
This is not, trying to scam millions of dollars or something.
No.
This is trying to stay out of jail. You do whatever you got to do.
You do what you got to do, bro. And I get it.
Yep.
I get it. If there's a way to finagle the system. And,
he got his teeth fucked out the last time he was in there. He doesn't want to go back.
No, hell no. These guys don't like being in there.
Who does?
Former Proud Boys chairman Enrico Tarrio sentenced. Thank God we got this animal off the street.
Yep.
Sentenced to 22 years behind bars in connection to the breach at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2001.
That's sedition. It'll get you every time.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
22 years.
Yeah.
They were asking for 30, so they got a bit of a deal.
Leniency.
Yeah. Sentence marks the longest to date in the Department of Justice's handling of Jan 6. Tarrio is the son of Cuban immigrants, was found guilty of seditious conspiracy by a federal jury in D.C. And this is what people say. Like, when you've got a town that votes 85% one way, that means the whole town. So when you get a jury of your peers, it's not quite the same.
85% leaning one way.
Leaning one way.
Now,
and dying to lean that way.
The sad reality is that how you vote shouldn't determine, how you're going to, decide a case. You should be, regardless of your political affiliations, you should be able to.
You would hope
to see have the facts explained to you and make a decision based on that.
Right.
It's just not the reality. It's
No.
just not. Sadly, it's just not the reality. And you know what? And those people.
I didn't know that was a thing growing up. Did
and
you?
if it's just
that
a regular,
judges had different.
If it's just a murder case. You know what I mean? A jury of your peers. If you go in there, like, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
There's no political affiliation. But if you're talking about something like this, it's a different story.
Wholly different story.
Right.
Which is why Trump's team and a lot of the 19 other part of the RICO charges or whatever, they want that shit moved. They're like, you honestly think we can get a fair trial a jury of our peers in D.C.? Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Which,
Or New York or Atlanta, where all these
Yeah.
indictments are going down.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's some warrant to that. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But you are 100% right, T. I never even thought about it that way. But if you're talking about a simple murder one case,
Yeah, no,
it
there's
means
nothing. They're going to listen to the facts of the case
And rule
and
on
be
it.
open-minded, and they're going to rule it based on that.
Yeah.
Something like this, they already have. Their mind is already made up.
Yeah.
There's not one person in here that doesn't know about January 6th and doesn't have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
No matter how well you want to try and vet the jury,
Yep.
it's not going to work. You can't dismiss everybody.
Just asking people. Of course, you're aware of January 6th. Do you think you can be unbiased and blah? Yes, sir, I can.
Yep.
Yes, sir, I can.
Of course, sure.
Sure. So in May, the Judge Timothy Kelly sentenced back in May, and then sentenced by Judge Timothy Kelly. Was facing 33 years. I'm not a political zealot. Inflicting harm or changing the results of the election was not my goal, he said. Please show me mercy. I ask that you not take my 40s away from me. This is the part of the story that I go, wait a minute. Tarrio was not in D.C. on the day of the Capitol breach.
No, I know. He was monitoring from a hotel room nearby.
Oh, was he? Yeah, okay. Prosecutors instead argued he was the leader, not a foot soldier, calling him intelligent, charming, creative, and articulate, and claiming that he used those talents to inflame and radicalize an untold number of followers. The government relied heavily on private communication from January 6 defendants, sorting through hundreds of thousands of messages to try to make the case that he and others were guilty of this rare seditious conspiracy charge. That law was enacted after the Civil War to arrest Southerners who they feared would keep fighting the United States government after they'd lost the war, that there would still be people.
Yeah.
And so that's where the seditious conspiracy law and why that was enacted. It's extremely rare in its application, hard to prove, though it's been used by the DOJ about a dozen times in connection to the Capitol breach.
Odd.
Yeah. In one message used by the prosecution, Tarrio said, "Make no mistake, ... we did this." The government also highlighted a document outlining a Capitol takeover that was sent to Tarrio on social media on the platform Telegram called 1776 Returns. Now, I think it's important to note that Tarrio did not respond to the sent document, claims he never even saw it, let alone opened it. Defense lawyers maintained throughout the trial there was not a single shred of written evidence to show that Tarrio conspired to stop the certification of the 2020 election. Tarrio said from inside a jail cell, what people are trying to do, and this is in general, is manipulate how we talk to each other in the locker room. And it's not fair, it's not right. It's not the justice system that you grew up in civics class learning about. Two other Proud Boy members, Joe Biggs and Ethan Nordine, also been convicted of seditious conspiracy. Judge Kelly, again, sentenced them each to 17 years. I'm sorry, Biggs to 17 years. Nordine was hit with 18 years.
Oh.
So he must have really
extra bad.
Yeah, his sedition
Was more seditious.
More seditious.
Way more seditious.
1/17 more.
Yeah.
For sure. Zachary Reel was also convicted of seditious conspiracy, little less seditious in his conspiracy-ness. He was given a 15-year sentence.
Okay.
By who? Oh, Judge Kelly, again. More than 1,100 people have been charged in connection to the Capitol breach. Hundreds have already been sentenced to prison time.
Yep. It's a sad, sad day.
Yeah.
On all fronts. It is.
I have no problem. That day was disgusting on so many levels. It was disturbing to watch. I remember I kind of slept late that day, and I was in California. I was at my sister's house, and Jen and Chris. And I remember walking into the kitchen to get a coffee, and she's like, "Are you seeing what's going on?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And looked over at the TV, and people were climbing up the wall and into the window, and it was like, "What the fuck? What is going on here?" I'll never forget it. I remember it vividly. To the people that smashed windows, injured police, shit on the floor inside the Capitol, went into Pelosi's office and
Is that
kicked
a
their
crime?
feet up. What?
Shitting on the floor?
I don't know that actually happened. I've heard that.
Okay.
I doubt that. Honestly, I don't know that I believe that.
The person on the plane was not charged, so
Right.
let's not pick our
Yes.
battles here.
To the people that went into Pelosi's office and kicked their feet up on her desk and maybe knocked some paperwork over.
Yeah.
To those people, I have no problem sending a message of, no. You don't get to behave like this and take this into your own hands. And you want to sentence those people to a reasonable amount of time for deciding on a whim. I don't know if they were ginned up by people. You want to do that and send a message that, no, you don't get to come to the Capitol and smash windows and crawl through. I still think there's some issue with what's her name being murdered. Ashley Babbitt. I mean, no one's explained that. No one cares to explain that. They just pinned a hero badge on that black officer that shot her to death, and that was the end of that. Just wipe our hands of that. Seems a little odd. But
again,
at the same time,
I don't necessarily have an issue with that either. I really don't.
Seeing them crawling through the windows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't coming from the outside in. Like that was crossing a threshold inside, if I remember correctly. Like that was getting through another barrier.
Double doors.
Something getting into like a different part or where the people were near the chambers, whatever it was. And again, so I have no issue really with that. To be honest with you, I'm surprised only one person was killed.
Yeah, me too.
It depends on who you speak to, but only one person was killed. I have no doubt that there were some bad actors involved in this. There were some people that were that. Now, I'm not saying sedition. I'm not saying that the Proud Boys get thrown under the bus, whatever. That I'm not saying I don't know what their intent truly was. Whether I can promise you it was never to overthrow the government.
No.
Right? Like they were going to all of a sudden
hilarious on its face.
Right? That he was going to be the president? Like all of a sudden they're just going to
stupid.
All hail King Trump back onto the throne. Like no,
never made sense.
Right?
It was always silly.
And I always said that this would be a completely different story if what they were claiming turns out to be true. Right? If there was election fraud, if the election was stolen.
They're still talking about that in Georgia, Arizona.
I'm not saying there isn't. I mean, nothing's come out to, I'm not saying it one way or the other. I'm just saying that if that had turned out to be true, what they did, while not proper, is a lot more justified, right? I mean, on some level. So
does it bother you that when that stuff was going on, more video has come out and been released that shows cops opening doors, unlocking chambers to let people in, letting people in. Now, that does look suspicious and weird on its face, but I would say at the same time, if you're being run over by
so outnumbered
hundreds of thousands
like,
of people.
Okay, fine, just listen, the people are out, everybody's safe.
The best thing we
just
can
let
do.
them in, just let them go. Now, there's levels to that too.
Right.
The guided tour that the Grand Poobah got.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Unlocked doors,
that wasn't,
letting him into chamber areas.
That wasn't out of fear. They weren't just like, fine, just go.
Right.
Don't hurt us. That wasn't it.
No.
There were certain areas that were volatile, but it wasn't everywhere.
Right. So, but that there's something on that, and you could make that argument like, oh, in that situation, the best move is to let them in because you're not gonna stop them if you've got hundreds of thousands.
And when
of
you
people
did
that
let
wanna
them
do
in,
something.
did they come in there with their pitchforks and torches
No.
and just trash the place? And
No.
no, they didn't.
No, they
So,
walked around and took selfies.
Exactly.
One guy sparked a joint up, disrespectful as shit.
Still,
I
can't argue with that. So did Willie. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I would say for people that just feel like fuck these people no matter what and who cares, throw the book. And I've seen that online. Lots of people are like, I hope they fucking die in prison. Well, like that's fine, but we do. And again, I have no problem with people that kicked in doors they weren't supposed to, or broke windows, or made a mess. and sending a message to them.
Yeah, but once those doors were opened up,
years
and people went in there walking around like a tour and lighting a joint and taking selfies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Are those people? Do they deserve prison time?
Prison time,
right? Okay, that's where this has gotten way out of hand.
And we have video of what went on just a few months earlier.
And
with
that video
Black
was
Lives Matter.
suppressed for. Well, I mean, I was going to say the video, all the surveillance video was suppressed for years before it came out.
But if you know, I don't want to make the general basic argument, but there's some validity to it, okay? We watched people back off, people that were far more destructive to private property, to businesses, to police, thousands of
business
injured police.
Owners.
Billions of dollars in damage, destruction of cities, just torching places. Some people were arrested. Are they going to do 22 years in prison? No. Are they going to be brought up on seditious conspiracy charges or RICO charges, working in coordination together? No. They're going to give them trespassing. They're going to give them disturbing the peace tickets. And if they do any prison time, it'll be more like jail time. And they'll do a month, with release, they'll do weekends. This idea that this was, warrants 22 years, 18 years. Think about that in federal prison. Like, there's lots of people, and it's okay. You do have free speech. You can have shitty conversations with people through text, through Telegram. You can. I mean, what country are we living in?
Yeah.
Believe me, there's times when I've thought, burn the whole fucking thing down.
How many people did you say have been charged? I mean, not charged, but convicted? Did you have that number? Did you say 1,100 people or something like that have been convicted and sentenced?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was 1,100.
My God.
Overall, more than 1,100 people have been charged.
Okay, charged. But
hundreds have already been sentenced to prison.
Yeah.
Prison.
Yeah, there's not. I don't know,
I
don't
just
know if
think
there's
it's
hundreds of those acts that are worthy of prison time.
I
mean, you can go back in those videos. You can watch people. You can watch the people that were fucking
they've identified
way out of line.
all of them. They've gone way out of their. They've
crossing
gone
that
so
threshold
far
does not
to find and convict every one of these people. Like none of them.
They're billboards.
Yeah, I mean, they are like. It's like, okay, well, fine. If that's the way you're going to be, fine. But don't tell me you're not going to do that with the Black Lives Matter riots.
If it was
are
equal,
you fucking kidding me?
If apples to apples, that's fine.
Yeah. If you're going to say, I'm Joe Smith and I own a fucking car wash business and these clowns came and burned the whole goddamn thing to the ground, insurance isn't covering it, and I'm just shit out of luck. And you just go, that meant a lot to. It's like when they said, we want no one outside and you have to be masked at all times. And it was like, well, what about these tens of thousands of people running around like anarchists, torching major cities?
What are they going to do, fine them?
No, they said, no, it doesn't apply to them because this is more important. Mm-hmm. Okay. Really? That was their argument, if you remember it.
That was my point on that. Like, that was okay. So that was the cause justified the means,
right?
So because it was for social justice,
right?
Whatever they did was okay. It was
justified.
all in bounds.
Yeah.
But because this supposedly didn't happen, this was out of line.
Right.
Okay, that's a big gray area.
Big gray
on both sides. It's a real big gray area.
And don't get it confused. We're not excusing anyone's
not at all.
behavior.
I'm just saying it's not.
But we've seen many times over the years these situations that get out of control, and I 100% blame the people. You don't just have hundreds of thousands, up to 1 million people show up somewhere, and you don't have the proper security to be able to deal with that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's bullshit. And that's whether that was intentional, it wasn't right to not be able to fucking clamp down and make sure that didn't happen. And it sounds like they didn't do everything they could to make that happen to where people could be protected and safe. And
there's a lot of questions.
A lot of
unanswered questions.
And it's not like you're going back 50 years. You're going back 6 months to go, okay, well, we all saw this and recognized this is a problem. Fiery but mostly peaceful is the way it was reported.
Yeah.
Okay? No. That was riotous, illegal behavior on every level. Okay? I'm not talking about the tens of thousands of people that peacefully marched and stayed within the parameters and were able to do that as a First Amendment right. Not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that absolutely crossed the line and torched major American cities all over the country.
There's a pretty similar parallel there between that and January 6th.
Yes.
Right.
And I have
few people.
But freezing everybody's bank account, anybody who was in D.C. just getting phone records to find out who was in the neighborhood, arresting grandmas and throwing them in prison for walking around the Capitol. Like, okay, they're not supposed to be in there, but 15 years in federal prison? Oh, all right.
Yep.
Doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem even. And it seems like hypocrisy at its finest when you're excusing one people's behavior and you're not excusing anyone else's. Like, there's no, like, compassion. When you're throwing grandmas in prison, prison is supposed to keep the community safe. Were you not safe from the grandma you threw in prison?
No.
Right?
No, she's a monster.
She's a monster?
Yep.
Really? Really? Okay, because it seems like overkill to me. Not to preach,
If
but
Trump gets elected
does.
and the first thing he does is pardon all
Tario,
of them,
yeah.
Is that what happens then?
Oh, people just shit themselves all over again. But they're going to do that anyways. If the guy wins an election, they'll go ape shit all over again. We'll go through the whole thing again.
You think would be top on his list?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think to
Maybe
pardon?
on the way out.
I don't think he's got 4 years to wait to do that. It'd be 6 years from now.
Would you have a problem with it?
Not necessarily. Now, I'm not saying that everybody, but I'm saying not just across the board necessarily, but, a lot of the people that probably don't deserve to be in there, and they might be out by then, realistically. I mean, the Pooh
Federal, though.
Pooh Bah's already out.
Yeah, but he wasn't charged with
Oh, no. But
seditious conspiracy.
No, but
or
so, I mean, again, I can't speak intelligently upon
federal, though, people do 85-90% of the time when they go to federal.
I don't know
prison.
I don't know the ins and outs of this case. I don't know how involved they were, how involved they weren't. I don't know what their intent was. My point is that the masses are not guilty of this. Now, they weren't all charged with sedition. I get it. But the fact that these people were all there to protest what they thought was to be a fraudulent election, which was all fine and righteous and legal.
Sure.
And then people start going in, right?
Yep.
Because it's a lot of people in a big place, and from the video and the footage that we've seen, there was very isolated incidents of violence. And most of it was not.
When you see video of people cutting the perimeter fence that they set up, and there's no interest in going after them, it's going to lead to people going, wait a minute, how many feds were involved in this? I mean, a lot of people call it a fedsurrection for a reason.
Yeah.
Why do they have no interest in the Ray Epps of the world? Or, this guy who's talking to a known undercover police officer and he's cutting the fence right in front of him and they don't say anything. Like, that video's out there. People are going through that, and it led directly into people being able to breeze through the gates that were set up as a security thing, and there's no interest in arresting that gentleman.
It's
like,
another,
why?
It's another political stunt, is what it is. It's just grandstanding, is what it is. To make it, not to justify it, make it okay, but to make it a lot worse than it was.
Right.
And which is the complete opposite of.
Yeah. I don't think democracy was under attack on January 6th. And I just don't believe that. No one showed up with a weapon, a musket, a gun, nothing.
No.
There was no.
A joint and a funny hat.
A joint and a funny hat, yeah. And the people that act like, oh, he had a spear. You mean the flagpole as he was traipsing around with a flag? Like, okay.
Yeah, when they ripped the flag off, and now it was a spear.
Spear, yeah. Okay.
Hey, this part of the show is brought to you by Your Insurance Expert. Are you paying too much for health insurance? Are you uninsured? Health insurance can be confusing. Our boy Nick Matthews from Your Insurance Expert is an expert in health insurance, life insurance, and Medicare supplements, so you don't have to be. Call Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. That's Nick Matthews, 248-914-1173.
Thank you, Nick, for doing your part. You personally helped me. I can't thank you enough. I hope people will use the limited sponsors we have. It's a great way to show support for the show. RadioFor1.com is the website. You can buy merch there. T-shirts are available. A lot of you have been asking about T-shirts. They are in there. Sweatshirts, hats, winter beanies. Get your winter beanies. I love seeing you guys out there wearing the old stuff, the new stuff. It's beautiful stuff. We've hand-picked out really good items. We'll add some more sooner than later. Amazon link, Amazon Canada, great way to support the show that's not going to cost you any more money, but just gives us a little bit of help. MyPillow, just use promo code TDC, whether you're at mystore.com or mypillow.com. They've been good to us over the years. They give us a great percentage of that, so it's an easy, again, way to help the show. And Patreon. There's a link to our Patreon page, and that's the absolute best way. And I don't care if you can only spend a few dollars or $20. I mean, if you can, buy us a coffee a week, it goes a long, long way to keep this show on the air. So there, I've said my piece. If you had to pick the worst university in America when it comes to free speech, yes, there are people that check on this stuff.
UC Berkeley.
Oh, that's a good one. That's very good. It's actually not in the top.
Okay.
But the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression.
Can I go? Is it Ivy League? Is that where we're going?
FIRE is the name of that group. So that's the acronym, FIRE, Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression. They released their annual report, and they have said that this school in particular, and yes, it is Ivy League,
All right. Yep.
is the worst in the country when it comes to free speech.
Yale.
No.
Harvard.
There you go.
All right. It was one of the two.
Yeah. The others aren't going to be behind, too far behind.
No. Yeah.
The report ranked 248 college campuses nationwide, analyzing factors from speech codes to reactions to guest speakers. It included a survey of roughly 55,000 college students. Harvard, one of the nation's top law schools, scored out of 100. What do you think Harvard scored? 100 being a perfect score.
And so, being shitty would be a low score?
Yes.
9.
Very good guess. They actually scored a 0 out of 100. The lowest score ever recorded.
Lowest score possible. That's staggering.
Each year, the climate on college campuses grows more inhospitable to free speech, said FIRE Director of Polling and Analytics, Sean Stevens. Some of the most prestigious universities in our country have the most repressive administrations. Students should know that a college degree at certain schools may come at the expense of their free speech rights. Harvard's speech climate was ranked as, quote, abysmal.
Oh, yeah.
After FIRE surveyed students about their experience at the Ivy League school, one student from the class of 23 said that they were required to start every class stating their pronouns.
Oh, my God.
Another said they were afraid to be open about their opinions. That's the most troubling part about this. Because a lot of us just feel like it ain't worth the fucking headache. I'm not going to let you know what my opinion is. It's the silent majority thing all over again. I applaud, we do our best on here to give our true and honest beliefs on things. Doesn't mean we're right, even though we usually are.
History has shown.
Yeah. But I feel bad for kids that, a lot of kids in scholastic situations just want to just fucking leave me alone.
Yeah.
Let me get through this. Give me a grade. I think it's extremely rare and brave, and I have a mad respect for kids that are willing to go into that hostile territory on the road and put their hand up and call bullshit to a professor who's actually responsible for their grades at the end of it all.
Yeah.
It's encouraging. It's rare. It's got to be extremely hard to do, and you got to have a real spine and backbone to do that.
Yeah.
It's not lost on me,
Getting harder and harder.
Yeah. I often avoid posting controversial takes on social media tied to my name because I'm afraid they might be misconstrued by my classmates or admin, a student from the class of 24 said. Other schools joining Harvard at the bottom of the free speech rankings included University of Texas, Austin, Dartmouth, Duquesne, Northwestern, Skidmore College, I don't know where that is, Fordham University, Georgetown, University of South Carolina. That's the Cox, right?
Yeah, wow. Okay.
I'm shocked the Cox wouldn't be all for free speech.
You'd think, yeah.
Yeah. And the University of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, so Penn, right? The Penn Biden Center, isn't that where that is?
I think so.
Up to 72% of all students surveyed said conservative speakers should not be welcome on campus.
What could possibly go wrong?
Wow. How did we get here?
Indoctrination.
Yeah, true. Stanford, where a Trump-appointed judge was shouted down by students earlier this year while attempting to deliver a speech about free speech on campus, ranked 207 out of 248 and 237 for disruptive conduct. The best schools. All right, ready for the best schools in the country when it comes to free speech. Their annual free speech rankings. Michigan Tech University.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, you're going to get into like Boise States and Wyomings and things like that, maybe.
Yeah, okay, I think you're sort of right. Michigan Tech, though.
Yeah, that's up in the UP.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is that UP? Yeah. Is that just a couple hours north, or is that way up north?
The UP is at least 4 hours to get there.
Okay.
And then I think Michigan Tech, I'm trying to remember which one's which up there because there's a few, but I think Michigan Tech's the one up in Houghton.
Hey, we love Houghton.
Yeah. Or is that, because there's one in Marquette, there's one in Houghton.
Michigan Technological University.
Yeah.
Also doing a good job, apparently, is Auburn, University of New Hampshire, Oregon State. I wouldn't have thought
Oregon State or New Hampshire.
No, I wouldn't have either. Florida State. I guess that doesn't shock me.
I almost said Florida State. That would have been one of my guesses.
University of Virginia, Texas A&M.
It's in Houghton.
Nice, good call. Houghton.
Northern Michigan, I think. Northern Michigan's in Marquette.
We could go there and open any door we want with
Yeah,
the
we
key
got
to
a big
the
old
city.
key. I'm going up there in a couple weeks. I'll take the key with me.
There you go, traipsing
I'm just
around.
going to walk around Houghton.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry, do you have one? No?
Oh, you don't have a key to the city? Sorry.
I can't. That wasn't given to me.
Texas A&M, George Mason. By the way, I've heard from the people responsible for the key, and they are dying to have us come up there.
Yeah.
Hang with them, party, whatever. So if you're really going up there, we should let them know.
I don't know that I'll make it into Houghton, though. It's up in the peninsula. I don't.
Well, you're
know
not
if
going to
that's
be
gonna
there that
work.
often. You should make one of your days. Just like, I'm going to go hang out, do the bar scene with the Houghtonites. Pretty fucking hot chicks, too. Just saying.
All right.
For what it's worth, take that information and do with it what you will.
Fair.
George Mason University, University of North Carolina, Greensboro.
We need to do that on our way to Lambeau for a game.
Yeah.
Or on the way
back. Yep.
Do it on the way there. We'll go for a Sunday.
That's what Easus and Cadog did.
Did they?
They went up and got the key, and then they shot right over to Wisconsin and took pictures at Lambeau and all that, and then came back home.
There you go.
Yeah. Lastly, on the list of good universities for free speech, Colorado, University of Colorado Boulder. We are very pleased. So this is, again, the free speech people. Coach Prime doing his thing. Yeah. Dude, do you want him muzzled? Hell no. We're very pleased to see that a number of university presidents are taking the issue of freedom of speech and academic freedom seriously by signing on to free speech initiatives. However, they have a long way to go toward restoring public trust. After all, an environment in which you can actually get in trouble for the wrong academic opinion is not one that can be depended on to produce reliable knowledge. It's especially disturbing that some of the worst performing institutions are among America's most influential schools, including Harvard, Georgetown, Northwestern, and Dartmouth. Northwestern is a fucking media school.
Well, there you go.
I mean, it's just,
I know,
it's
but
so troubling on so many levels.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Like, if you're a top student going into journalism,
Yeah.
Syracuse is great.
And you wonder why the
Michigan
media's-
State is great.
And you wonder why the media's slanted.
Yeah. Northwestern's creme de la creme.
Yeah.
If you can't get free speech right at Northwestern, holy shit.
They think they are is the scariest part of it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know how we got to a point where these simple-minded people have gone on to these great universities and are so dead wrong about something. They're not misguided. They are proudly, loudly wrong.
Yep.
Demanding you listen to them. No matter what batshit thing's coming out of their mouth, they are convinced they cannot be wrong. And I'm telling you, kids, you could not be further from right. You're on the wrong side completely.
History will tell.
Yeah. I hope. I mean, history's written by the winners. If this keeps going down this road.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Who's going to be able to say what's good or bad?
Yeah.
Or right or wrong?
Yeah. It's terrifying to me. It really is. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very, very scary. Something else that's very scary to me is evil. We haven't we're not spending a ton of time on trans things or gender identity and bullshit, but I think it's important to let people know that these things are going on, and it's not just the boogeyman, it's not just make-believe. A Colorado teachers union instructed teachers to destroy evidence of student surveys on gender identity. Jeffco Public Schools, which serves the West Denver area, had told teachers to avoid administering surveys about students' preferred pronouns since there were lawsuits coming about the issue. Please, no preferred pronouns / gender identity questionnaire. Do not promise to keep information from parents. This is behind the scenes what they're saying to the teachers. Outrageous. You are evil if you're putting that together. Sorry. The Jefferson County Education Association, which represents the teachers, gave teachers different guidance. The union sent out an email to teachers telling them, if you do a questionnaire, please make it a paper and pencil activity.
So there's no, it's easily burned.
Any digital records are more permanent and may be requested under federal law. If you wrote that sentence, you're a Satanist fucking scumbag. You should be charged. What? Since when do you think this sort of behavior is acceptable when dealing with children?
What's the issue? If you're so right, and this is so moral, and this is so everything above board, what are we worried about?
Kids? Why are we hiding it? Why would you ever, in this day and age, tell teachers to do it in paper and pencil? That's so you can get rid of the evidence. When the lawsuits do come. Why are the lawsuits coming? Because parents are fucking fed up. That's
Burn it
why.
all. Burn it all.
Make your notations about students and do not hold on to the documents. In other words, so they've got laws now saying you can't cover this bullshit in school with toddlers. Okay? That's a law. And so they're going, just do it in pencil and paper and then be prepared to throw it away so they can't find us.
Keep doing it. Just
Keep doing it,
leave no evidence.
Dozens of teachers are accused of conducting the gender identity surveys after their union sent out guidance about hiding the evidence. Denise Crawford, who has 3 children in the school district, said she felt deceived, lied to, taken advantage of when her son came home with a survey asking about his gender identity. I don't feel like I can trust the teachers. This is not political. It's just they're breaking the law. Crawford said she felt reassured when the school district emailed all employees before school started and reminded them about restrictions on surveys.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That asked children about protected information, including that parents must be able to opt out. School board member Susan Miller said the leadership actually provided an avenue to get around the law and basically saying it was okay. I want parents to know the district takes this very seriously. She urged the teachers union to issue a correction to their guidance, admitting they were wrong and must follow the law. The union's president, this twat Brooke Williams, did not offer a correction. However, by allowing students an optional avenue to share their preferred pronouns while maintaining student privacy, we could better ensure that students feel safe, respected, and validated. Trans and gender nonconforming students have the right to discuss and express their gender identity and expression openly and to decide when, with whom, and how much to share private information. Hey, Brooke, you're a monster.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I know you think you're doing the right thing for the right reasons, but you're not.
Just keep saying it. Keep documenting these orders.
Yeah. So you are a monster. When you're going out of your way to skirt laws, when you're going out of your way to cover up and deceive and keep parents in the dark, you're a monster. It's pure evil. I don't care what your justification is. It's evil. It's never happened in school systems.
They think that they're on the right
ever.
side of history, and they think that they're just out in front of this, and it's, okay, we just have to stall until society catches up with us.
Yeah.
We're not catching up.
No. And these people are fucking pure evil. I'm sorry. I've tried to withhold saying that, reserving that for truly demonic behavior, but I don't know what else to make of it. I really don't. I don't know where these people get off. I don't know who they think they are, why they're more important than the parents who should be involved any hint of something being a little off the rails, especially in a young age
There should
child.
be nothing. Zero. Nothing that the parents are not privy to.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The parents are 100% responsible for those children, not you, school board, not you, fucking elitist piece of shit, Satan teacher, not you, union members. No.
Where does
parents,
it end? If this is what the trajectory, where does it end?
Yeah. It's disgusting. Let's do a couple emails and get on out of here. T, we're 24 hours away.
TikTok.
Hey, guys. I know you're probably busy, but when you get a chance, could you possibly send me the link to the article you were reading about the 20-minute mark of Poem 1787 regarding ivermectin's off-label use prophylactically for COVID-19? I can't find it for the life of me.
Don't Google it. DuckDuckGo it.
Possibly the peer-reviewed study as well, if at all possible. All right, Riley, don't ask me for too much. I'm a lazy piece of shit. You got to remember that. Thanks so much and keep up the good work. The show has been great as of late.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, Riley, I love hearing from people whose names I don't recognize.
Absolutely.
I did send that article to Riley, but if you think...
Very nice.
Yeah, if you think you can Google the shit, it's going to pop up.
No. Again, what's the problem there? What's the issue there?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I sent him the article, and if someone wants to debunk it or any of the articles that I've read from around the world that you and I have covered on this show many times, feel free. Go ahead, debunk it, shoot holes in it, whatever. I'm not afraid of your emails.
Let's have a debate.
Yep, we can talk about it all you want. But lastly, Punching Joy Blowhard.
Oh, yes. God.
Mike, if there was a GoFundMe that if the goal was reached, Troy got to punch Joy Blowhard, I would donate an unhealthy amount of money to it. Like, my wife would have to sit me down and have a conversation about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
I agree.
Let's start it.
That's
we
from
can't do it
Connor.
on GoFundMe, but
Connor's such a great emailer.
this is another example for go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Dude, I actually saw, who was it that had a GoFundMe canceled? I was watching Jimmy Dore the other day, and it was it wasn't Aaron Mate, but one of those guys, one of the reporters for the Gray Zone.
Okay.
Max? Anyway, he was trying to raise money so they could hire 3 more investigative journalists. And they were he was trying to raise $120,000 to bring them onto the staff. Max Blumenthal? I believe that's his name.
All right.
Yeah. And they got to $90,000 and then GoFundMe yanked it. It was like, no, you can't do this.
What was the reasoning behind there?
I have no idea.
It's not illegal.
No, not
It
at all.
wasn't for a crime.
No.
Interesting. Like
But
to see how they justify that.
He takes a lot of shots at the left and kind of
I get it. I'm just saying they have to justify their decisions. Now it's easy for them to sort of hide behind the ones for criminal defense and things like that. That is sort of a broad veil that they can hide behind. But something like that, I'd like to know what their justification is.
Yeah, and I can't remember offhand. I did watch it, but I don't remember exactly. But the only reason I bring that up is I believe the video that Jimmy Dore posted was titled "Go Fuck Yourself."
Oh, perfect.
In other words, GoFundMe is telling you go fuck yourself.
Yep.
So it's getting out there.
I'm telling you, somebody's going to steal our idea and run with it.
Yeah.
We already missed our mark.
All right, buddy boy. Let's get out of here for the day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We certainly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. Game day, the start of the NFL season. I know some of you don't care, but a lot of us really. Hand, mouth, butt, vagine, football. So for me, if you like me, if you care about me, this is my...
All I can give you is football, buddy.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I want from you. So please, bear with us. I know we'll kind of be annoying on some of it, but I'm just too excited. Have a great rest of your evening. Go watch Tucker Carlson, Larry Sinclair. Sorry, I almost jumped myself. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that video. It's probably just hilarious, but I can't wait. So have a good rest of the evening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.